I'm making this video because there are some things I feel that need to be said and I don't hear anyone else saying them. Quite recently, there are a lot of accusations coming out against many different types of content creators about them grooming their own fans. I need to talk about this because I myself used to be in an abusive relationship, which I would consider to have elements of grooming. And while I don't want to go into the details, because a lot of it is still very painful for me, I think there are some things that need to be said to the people who are now coming out with their stories. And especially to those who are too afraid to tell their stories. When a content creator has fans who look up to them, they're in what's called a parasocial relationship. The fan knows about the content creator and probably also knows a select part of facts about that person, and that content creator has a significant and important effect on the fan's life. The content creator has no idea who the fan is, and let's be honest, individual content creators don't really care about their individual fans. It's just not possible to really care that much about all of your fans. But this creates a very difficult and painful power dynamic, and that is something that a content creator can prey on, whether they are aware that's the fact what they're doing or not. If you yourself have been in a situation where a content creator has asked things of you that you were not comfortable with, and you then did them, understand it's not entirely your fault. The content creator is abusing their power by asking. When a content creator actively maintains a horny on main aesthetic, or when a content creator is very actively discussing about NSFW topics in their server, or even in a case that I read about last night, which really is what prompted me to actually record this. They might have a NSFW channel in their server where people are free to post content and the creator sees what is being posted in there. If you don't see how this essentially pushes the fans towards posting things of themselves in order to get the attention of the creator, you clearly don't understand how fans work. There have been fans who severely cross lines of creators, and I'm not saying those are victims or that they are in the right. It's not exactly a conversation about being right, but what I'm mostly talking about here is when a content creator encourages it, allows it, or in some cases is the one to initiate the parasocial relationship, which can never be healthy. Trust me, I've had a lot of parasocial crushes myself. I know how unhealthy they are, and I know it's difficult to cope with. But what made mine dealable in the end, what made mine get in this situation where I never had this happen, is the fact that I never got in contact with the individuals that my parasocial crush was on. If you are yourself a survivor of grooming, or however you want to call it, understand that you are not alone. Understand there are many people out there who have experienced the same, who understand what you're going through, and there are even more who want to help you. If you don't feel comfortable talking out publicly, I completely understand, but try and find friends or a psychologist or family that you trust and you can talk to, because you need to talk about this to heal over it. If you yourself are not feeling like you're in a situation where you're being groomed, try and listen to the people who come out with their accusations and their stories. If they are false, they always break apart in the end. False accusations are kind of easy to spot eventually because the story keeps changing as it's being listened to. We're not asking you to immediately crucify every content creator who has an accusation against them, but to listen to the stories of those who come out and to take them into consideration. Try and listen to what they need, what they ask for. Ultimately, they need support. They need to be able to tell these stories. If we push back, if we're harmful towards them, other survivors who might have had an even worse situation will never speak out. The only thing going after the accuser will do, the only thing that will happen if we go after the survivors who brings out the accusation, all it will achieve is silencing everyone who had such a thing happen to them. And I cannot accept that. If you are yourself any form of content creator, try and be aware of the fact that these parasocial relationships are a thing, and you need to be careful with them. Having a community is great. Building your community around topics like sex positivity is great. But you hold power over your fans inherently. You cannot go into your Discord server that is centered around you, where the people in there are there because they like you or your content, and they often don't really see a difference between the two. Then you can't just go in there and expect to be friends with them. Or worse, you can't go in there and expect a healthy, functional, romantic relationship. It doesn't work. And in the end of the day, it's unhealthy for everyone. Please be extremely mindful of the platform you have. If you are a content creator and you yourself are very mindful of these things, and you would never do this to your own fans, keep in mind that it's important that we talk about when these accusations come up. Try and make clear how you try and make your community safe, which, yes, includes avoiding parasocial relationships, but also protecting your own fans in your community from outside influences and each other. Try and give a reason why you are safe before you have people in your community. And try to speak up against people who make online communities unsafe. And as a final thing, can we stop having a useless, worthwhile, pedantic argument about whether or not what is happening in specific cases counts as grooming or pedophilia or whatever? That's not what we're here for. It doesn't matter if it technically is grooming or not. What matters is, was it manipulative and was it wrong? And when a content creator is trying to create such a relationship with somebody who started out as a fan, it is always manipulative and it always is wrong.